Hello, everyone. Welcome to this event. I hope you all had a joyous Christmas. I know these are challenging times we are facing collectively as humanity, and the entire world is turning upside down for so many of us. So I feel now more than ever, we need to find our life purpose in order to lead a meaningful life that fills us with inner joy and contentment. This is why a discussion such as today's is so important. And that brings us to our topic of the day, discover your Ikigai. Today, you will be introduced to the concept of Ikigai, which is a Japanese word meaning reason for being, something that makes life worth living for. Ikigai gives direction and purpose to life. It is about doing what makes you happy, going with the flow, and pursuing that which makes your heart feel light. It is the fire within that propels one to spontaneously spring into action and enjoy the journey of life while deriving meaning from it. Ikigai is the resilience that keeps one motivated to keep going and not give up in the face of adversities. It not only gives a sense of purpose to life, but also is the very motivation of living it. This panel discussion is organized by the NTU South India Alumni Association, which represents more than 900 NTU alumni in Singapore, and is headed by Mr. G. Arulmurugan. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, you're right.
Who is the president of the association, Mr. Suman Kota, the vice president, and Dr. Krupakaran, the secretary. We are glad to have Mr. G. Arulmurugan, president of the NTU Alumni Association, present here with us today. Welcome, Mr. Arulmurugan. Please wave at us.
Thank you. All the best.
Okay. Thank you for being here with us today, Mr. Arulmurugan.
Thank you.
Okay, we have two of our protagonists present here, Mr. Karthik and Vishruth Jain's mom, as Vishruth is no more, right? Okay, so...
And we have Vishruth's sister as well, Shruti.
Vishruth's sister is here. Okay, that's great. Welcome to this session. Before we move ahead, let me briefly introduce myself here. I'm going to be the moderator for our panel discussion today. An international speaker, author, performer, and globetrotter, I work towards expanding consciousness on the planet. My upcoming book is titled Life is Abracadabra, which recounts magical true stories from my travels across the globe that will make you look at life with new eyes. And I live in Costa Rica, but these days I'm visiting India. And I feel honored to be able to moderate this event. Okay, enough about me. Now let us get introduced to our two wise and wonderful panelists today, Rahul Singh and Naresh Agarwal, who authored the book, You Know the Glory, Not the Story, whose Indian version is titled Engineering to Ikigai. The book unveils the life journeys of 12 teens that left India for the uncharted waters of Singapore in the 1990s and early 2000s. Each story started with engineering and took the person to their calling. Did they find their Ikigai? Well, you have to get the book to find out.
Yeah, Baisakhi was 25 teams.
Yeah. 25 teams, that's what I said,
yeah.
Right?
12, yeah, 25.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Rahul Singh is a banker, author, and community builder. He is the principal of Corporate Advisory Board at IIM Udaipur and president of IIM Bangalore Alumni Association in Singapore. He regularly speaks at corporates and universities at an international level on topics that concern millennials, such as careers in the 21st century, conscious capitalism, and cross-cultural understanding. He has co-authored the books An atheist gets the Gita, engineering to Ikigai, and you know the glory, not the story. Hailing from Ayodhya, he received a full scholarship to study Bachelor's of Engineering with honors at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore and has an MBA from IIM Bangalore. Rahul, please wave at us.
Hi, Baisakhi. Thank you so much for having me here. It's lovely to be on the same panel with somebody like you.
Sure. Welcome to the discussion. Naresh Agarwal is an academic, painter, author, speaker, and learner. He is an associate professor and director of information science and technology concentration at Simmons University in Boston, USA. He is the president-elect of the Association for Information Science and Technology and founded its South Asia chapter. Born and brought up in the Himalayan town of Gangtok, Sikkim, Naresh did his computer engineering at Nanyang Technological University and PhD at the National University of Singapore. He authored Exploring Context in Information Behavior and started Project Oneness World to gather human stories through interviews. Naresh researches human interactions with information and technology and seeks to embrace everyone. Naresh, could you please wave at us?
Thank you, Baisakhi. It's wonderful to see you on video today.
Yeah, same here. Okay. So that was a brief introduction of our speakers today. Before we begin this session, let me quickly set the house rules here. We encourage all of you to actively participate in this discussion. At each point, we will open the floor to audience questions. So please participate and feel free to ask anything to the panelists here. To ask a question, you have to raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. And we will take questions on a first come, first served basis. So all set and ready to go? Yes?
Yes.
Naresh, Rahul?
I am ready. I hope you don't ask me difficult questions, though.
Okay, let's see. It's in the hands of our audience. Okay, I'm going to begin then. Without further ado, let's get into the discussion right away. My first question to the panelists here. Why did you decide to write this book? Who is going to take the question, Rahul or Naresh or both?
Maybe you can flip a coin.
No, Rahul, you can start and then I'll continue. Yeah.
Okay, you go
Right.
first, Rahul.
So, no, I think Naresh, you go ahead. I can chip in. It's easier that
Fine,
way.
Naresh.
So I think so Rahul is 10 years junior to me from NTU, and we have never met in person, and we have written a book now, and
Wow.
so that's quite amazing. And I think I used to have a blog many years ago where I used to talk about the scholarship, and he sent me some email at some point, and then I responded to them, and which I didn't know about. And then he saw me on TV once about some painting thing, and then he reached out to me, and that's how we started talking. And in 2018, Rahul wrote a very nice blog commemorating, I think, was it 25 years of the scholarship?
25 years, yeah.
Yes, of the scholarship. And there he mentioned a number of people, and he mentioned me for the blog as well, in the blog. And that's when we started talking. And then we thought like we should do something more than that. And Rahul at that point thought about the idea of planning a reunion for people in Singapore. And then I suggested to him that, okay, why don't we do a book as well?
Naresh, can you be a bit louder?
Yeah, Naresh is a
Okay.
bit
Yeah.
soft.
Okay. So why don't we do a book as well? And then we thought like, okay, we did like a Google Doc and started writing some basic ideas. So initially we thought maybe we'll do a book about our own experiences, like Rahul's and mine, and about the scholarships from 2 different time periods, like 10 years apart and all that. And then we thought that why would people interested in our stories? Maybe we should get more people. And then we thought of reaching out to other people. So then the initial idea was to have a central component as the people who got the scholarship. And we started doing that. But later on, especially as we started reaching out to publishers and all, we thought that the book has to be bigger than just the NTU and US people. And that is where the Ikigai came in terms of this idea of anybody finding themselves in at least a few of the stories, if not all of the stories. And then over the next 2 years or so, like a year or so, it was this period of identifying people through snowball sampling, like reaching out to some people and then getting them to suggest other people. We also try to be representative, like getting people from NTU and NUS and people of different genders and both the universities are kind of having a big balance. Also different batches, like we were trying to cover like 25 batches. So we did not manage to get all the batches, but we succeeded quite a bit. And we were also trying to get people from different professions. So that entire period of trying to get stories was this big time period. And then it was about writing them, editing them, putting them all together in the form of a book. So it was 3 years. And initially we thought it would be like a year or 6 months effort, but book writing is always like that. It always takes much longer than we anticipate, but finally it is out and we're happy about it. Rahul,
you guys are like 12 time zones apart and more than 15,000 kilometers away. I mean, how did you coordinate with each other to do this book? And you've never met? That's amazing. Rahul?
Yeah, so that is what it is, Baisakhi. I hope I'm audible, or do I need to be louder?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You are quite audible.
Okay. So I often get these posts where, especially on WhatsApp University, where the people tell you how social media is bad for you, how it's eating away into your time, how you don't get life because you're always on social media. And I would always argue that no, social media is a brilliant thing. How else would I meet somebody like Baisakhi? How else would I meet somebody like Naresh, who I've never met but met? So it's like a knife. Is a knife good or bad? Is money good or bad? Depends, right? Depends on how you use. If you give a knife to a surgeon, he's obviously going to put it to good use. But if you give a knife to a murderer, they will also put it to some use which may not be good, right? So it's the same with social media. So whether social media it's a tool, it's a weapon, right? How you use that weapon, it depends on that. So in my case, as Naresh was mentioning, I got the scholarship 10 years after he did, and when I was coming to Singapore, I was looking for information as to I didn't even know that Singapore is not actually connected to Malaysia, because in all the maps it comes as a dot and you think it's on the tip of Malaysia. So only when you zoom,
it's a small piece of water body that connects.
Yeah. Only when you zoom, then you know it's not connected, right? But how would you know all that? So I didn't even know that. So then I was trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to be in this country, so I better know about this country. I'm going to be studying there for 4 years or 5 years, whatever. So then I was researching on information, and incidentally, I came across Naresh's blog. At that time, he used to host a blog in NUS where he was studying for PhD, I think. And I found it quite interesting. And then I also wrote him an email. We exchanged email. I think he still has a copy of that email. I lost that email, but he has a copy. And then, life is like that. You bump into same people and again. That's another thing that I would say, that be nice to people. You will bump into same people again and again, right?
Meaningful coincidences, you keep meeting the same people.
You keep meeting same people again in different
do something
settings.
Together.
Yeah. So then I finished my NTU. I worked for a while. I went for MBA, and I was incidentally back in Singapore for my holidays while I was in MBA. And I saw a TV program where Naresh's name comes up and it says Simmons University. I was like, name sounds familiar, but the guy is in America, but he was in Singapore. So I just looked him up, and incidentally it was him. And then we exchanged another few emails, and then again we forgot about each other. Then 2018, I incidentally started writing a blog. You can call it not a blog, it's an article. It's a news article which I was writing for an Indian diaspora magazine here. And in that magazine, I was trying to do research about people around around the scholarship. What have they done? Where have they reached? In that context, I reached out to Naresh because he's obviously 10 years senior to me, right? So he knows people in the initial batches. I know people in the middle batches, and then we reached out to other people who knew people in the down batches. So I was trying to see, okay, what have these people done? I mean, the scholarship was given to these people. What have they made out of their life? So in that context, I contacted him. The article came out. The article kind of became quite popular among the alumni community, especially among the scholars. And then Naresh and I discussed if we can make something bigger out of it. And then that's when the idea of book came. And as you rightly said, we are 12 time zone apart, but we never felt like that because we collaborated so tightly. most of our calls were actually not about books. Most of our calls were just discussing things, his life perspective, my life perspective, what we value in life, what we don't value in life, and kind of we are kind of similar in some sense. And that bonding started developing over and over, right? So we used to at one point in time, I think we used to speak like more than 2 or 3 hours a day, like his night, my morning, my night, his morning. And over time we developed that friendship. And then we started thinking, okay, how are we going to write this book? So if you look at the book, it features 25 stories, but throughout this period of 20 years that the scholarship was running, each year about, let's say, 50 people got the scholarship. So it's about 50 to 60. So it's about 1,000 to 1,200 people, right? So how do you pick 25 from this?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because, you know, Rahul, I was really excited and I must admit surprised when you contacted me in Costa Rica wanting to write my story in your book, you know, and I was wondering, why me out of hundreds of scholars? You know, I always wondered. So Rahul, you have to answer this question today. How did you select the people to be featured in your book?
It's quite simple. We had a process of elimination. We were trying to eliminate as many people as we could.
So wait, your initial sample was the entire 1,000
Our initial
scholars?
sample was the entire 1,000, 1,200. Obviously, we do not have access to everybody. So what we started doing was like, let's say I am from 2005 batch. That's when I entered. So I would know three batches up, 3 batches down, right? So by and large, I would know them, and those people will know people down and up, right? So we started doing that way. So Naresh is from the 3rd batch. So he obviously knows the 1st batch, 2nd batch, and people down. So he knows everybody in 1990s, let's say. I know Mota, I know people in the year 2000 wala batch. So 2000s. So we started contacting people in these batches, and we used to ask them one simple question. Who is doing extraordinary work in your batch? Something different. Something different. Something different. So our process was elimination. So how do you eliminate? Obviously, most of us would be in corporates, right? So we're like, corporate people out. So it was like as if we were biased against corporate, and it's a fact. We were biased against corporate people, because if we were to include corporate people, then we would have to include 1,000 people, and the book will never be written.
Correct.
So yeah, I think one interesting thing in this is that even though we did not really actively think of the word Ikigai until that point, but I think Ikigai was always in our mind right from the very beginning, which meant that we were kind of looking for people who were listening to their minds and doing what they felt like, and not something which was the norm to do. So any person who was just following the norm of okay, finish this and find a job and do something, I think those people we were kind of not very interested in. So we were like people who are listening to the voices and trying to do something. When we say something different, is basically Ikigai in that sense, right? Doing things which they are listening to their own voices. So the Ikigai word came much later into our book, part of the book, in terms of the title and all of those kinds of things. But the concept was always there, I think, in the way we were picking people.
And resilience. So we were looking for somebody who is following their calling and has shown resilience. And you know, when you're following your calling, you will have a lot of bumpy ups and downs on the way, right? So we were looking for somebody who has overcome that, somebody who has not given up. And so that was the simple process. I mean, complicated yet simple. We had a simple guiding principle. And then we went to people in each batch, and we used to ask them, tell us somebody who's doing something different. So in your batch, Baisakhi, I think there is one person called TP Matthew. So he mentioned that you are doing something extraordinary. I'm like, what extraordinary is she doing? So he told me that you are somebody who will just pack her bag and travel to any part of the world. I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's speak to the person. So I don't know, Baisakhi, if you realized, but we were not very we when we talk to people at that point in time, we kind of are still exploring. We are not like promising anything. We're just trying to get to know the person, because we just hear about people from somebody else, but we also need to evaluate it from our own perspective. So that's when we talked to you, and we said, yeah, seems like there is some story there. So so it's the same with everybody else. Yeah. You know, it's some people, it's quite strangely enough, some people I have met, and I have asked the same question, who is doing extraordinary work in your batch? And people are generally humble. They will talk about everybody else, but not themselves, right? So in one such meeting, I met another of your batchmate, maybe not from the same university, but maybe you know her from JC. So Susan Day.
Yeah, Susan.
So Susan is obviously a great person. She's a dancer. She was All India rank holder in ICSC, and a great person. But she was mentioning everybody but not her. And then she mentions this word Ikigai. So she says, so you're looking for people who have found their Ikigai. I'm like, what's Ikigai? And then that's when she explains to me what Ikigai is. I'm like, yeah, we are looking for people who have found their Ikigai. And then I obviously talked to her, and I figured out, okay, this is a banker who also pursues dancing. So that is how she came into the picture as well. So a long answer to your short question: how did we figure out who to interview? How did we collaborate? But beautiful journey, a beautiful for my own self by writing this book, because all of the 25 people are so transformational. Their journeys are so transformational that as a reader, you're not just reading. It's not a news article. It's like when you read, you yourself get immersed in the story so deep that you yourself go through a change, and that is what the purpose of the book is. You should be reading the book, or I would say this way, that we as authors would fail if the book doesn't trigger at least a thought of transformation in your mind.
Right.
And I think there's one or two more things. One is that initially we thought that we had some sort of a pride, and we felt that the people we pick will be like the chosen ones, and every person we pick will be so happy to be a part of the book. And that wasn't the case. A number of people, for whatever the reasons, because they were shy or because they were not ready to share their story, some of them that said no, and that was a surprise. And that was one. And secondly, like when you have, and we were looking for people from different professions, so when we were looking for an academic, so that's when Karthik came in. So Karthik, if you want to just turn on your camera and say hi to people. And
I think he has to unmute himself.
Sorry, did you ask me to say hi?
Say hi and a little bit about your profession.
Hi. Sorry, I'm in Bangalore at the moment, and it's pretty noisy. So that's why I've kept my audio off and video off as much as possible. I'm a professor at the Singapore University of Technology and Design. I just want to congratulate Naresh and all for doing this. I think as you all know, many of us who came are fantastic. I've achieved lots of things in different professions, and I think just putting that together, just conceiving this idea itself, I think was a fantastic idea on their part. So I don't know what else you want from me, Naresh.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. That's great.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And one of Rahul's and mine, both of our favorite stories in the book is Vishrut's. It's one of the most touching stories, and one of my regrets. And so one thing that was very interesting was that as Rahul and I, we both worked on the stories, right? Not only did we write or work on the stories, but I think we lived your lives in some ways for the period that we were engaged with the stories. So let's say for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever, if we were in your story, Baisakhi, then we were you in some senses, because everything, we were kind of living your life journey. And while working Karthik's story, we were with Karthik in all aspects. And so similarly, it was with Vishrut. And one of my biggest regrets was he's such a wonderful person. Like as you live his life and try to get his story, that I was so much wanting to meet him, and then realizing that he's not there was such a moment, because Vishrut has done such lovely things, especially Nepal. Like his primary work is trying to adopt girls in Nepal, and I come from from Sikkim, which is just adjacent to Nepal. So it was a very, very close story, and just being able to see Vishrut's mom today is such a touching moment, because she is the great person who gave birth to that great man. So Auntie, if you could unmute yourself and say a few words about your son, that would be wonderful right now.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Auntie.
Hello. It's a very emotional moment, but I'm proud of my son. And he has done such a wonderful job. Now we are carrying his legacy. And now we have also we have also at least 16 children. They are under Vishal Foundation. They are learning. We are giving them physiotherapy. Uh, Physiotherapy. It's a free of cost. We are giving them the education, and the three of them are one. Sachin is preparing for IIT. He is also under Vishal Charitable Trust. We are paying everything for him. And one is Ankita Jain. She's from Allahabad. We are paying her fees because her father and mother both have deaf and dumb, and they are not able to do anything. In Corona, they were doing some uh, tiny jobs, and now they are out of that. So we are taking care of Ankita also. And in physiotherapy, we have now we have 12 students, and they are learning physiotherapy here. My husband is a doctor, so he's an orthopedic surgeon. So they under him, they are doing very well. And before it, 12 students passed away from physiotherapy. They are also doing so. We are taking Vishw's legacy.
Thank you, Auntie. And Shruti, you want to add something?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Shruti.
Nice to see you. And I really want to congratulate on the excellent work that you have done on the book. It is a very touching moment. And my brother being featured into this book is a proud moment for all of us. And knowing what I have known him for his entire life, he was different. He was different from the very beginning. And he had such a great mind that if he put his mind to anything, he could achieve it, be it arts, be it music, and be it academic. I mean, there was nothing that he couldn't do. And that's something that was always enviable and admirable for somebody like me to look up to somebody who has always achieved the topmost honor every moment of his life. And so to have him featured there amongst all the greats that you've picked, it was really humbling and really a very proud moment for all of us. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for creating a footprint in time where his legacy won't be forgotten. And I congratulate my parents as well to carry on the legacy that he has left behind, what he wanted us to carry on doing. He adopted 16 girls in Nepal who were saved from slavery or otherwise prostitution, perhaps. But now they are being nurtured and they are being settled into mainstream, and they're doing extremely well. Two of them has become physiotherapists, working alongside my father, and the few whatever dreams and passions that they have, we are supporting them in any shape or form. Priya has been a big part of it as well, of course. Yeah, we're just thankful that his legacy can continue, and we can get inspired and be able to follow his footsteps in any way and shape and form.
Thank you, Shruti. And there is this
Wow.
Hindi film dialogue called "Zindagi lambi nahi badi honi chahiye," and who better to learn that from Vishrut's life, because people are not able to do that in an entire 80-90 years, but Vishrut was able to do that in 44 years. And it's amazing. It's amazing what he's done.
Yeah, he fulfilled his Ikigai, his destiny, actually.
And that Ikigai is continuing beyond a person, which means that Ikigai is not limited to a person's life. That's what this story tells us.
His work lives on, and I think that is the purpose of this discussion. It's to open this platform for people to figure out what they came here to do and what is their reason for being, and find that inner purpose, that inner vision, that work which brings you inner joy. I think that's
You know,
most
and
important, and that's what Vishruth did, right?
Shruti,
And
you want
even
to
if one person can get inspired, I feel even one person can get inspired by another person's life. I think that's a big enough achievement. And he has given three, at least four of us, which is my mom, my dad, me, and my sister-in-law, who are carrying on the legacy. And hopefully these children, we are training them that they have to carry on his legacy as well, because they are being nurtured through his foundation. So if every one of them can nurture one another child, the world would be such a better place.
Exactly.
And that is what we are inculcating in them as well, that as you become self-independent, you have to make sure that you also train and educate one other person, and that one other person, and that so help us create a chain where we leave a better world behind us.
Thank you, Shruti, for those lovely words. And I think at this point, we can take some questions from the
Baisakhi,
audience.
I want to say something to what Shruti said.
Sure,
Shruti,
sure.
you touched upon the three things which was the motivation to write this book. So obviously, number one was to document these stories, right? Otherwise, these stories get lost in time unless you document them. And we all know that a lot has been said and read and written about people who went to the West, let's say to the US or UK, from India particularly. But not a lot is said about people who from India, let's say, or from the subcontinent go towards East, or go to countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, right? Not a lot is said about them. So one idea was obviously document this. The other idea was, I think, which was the crux, the central piece was to inspire, which Shruti you mentioned, that the idea is that this book is written for people who are 12 to 35, largely. Anybody can read, but that's our target audience. So the idea is that there are 25 stories. All of them are so diverse, from Baisakhi, who is a globetrotter, to Vishruth, who is a philanthropist, to Karthik, who is an academician. So the stories are very diverse. And the idea is that when a kid or a grown-up adult is reading these stories, at least one of them resonates with them, and they get inspired to then take that inspiration to somebody else. So that was the idea. So that's the second point why the book was written. And thirdly, which Shruti, you also mentioned, pay it forward. All of us, every 25 of us who are mentioned in the book, have benefited from this very generous scholarship which came from Singapore. So what are we going to do about it? Like, is it like, okay, I got it and that's the end of it? Or are we going to spread that happiness, that joy, in whatever capacity we can, to pay it forward to next generation? I think Vishruth pretty much epitomizes that, because he really 16, he sponsored 16 girls, right? It's not an easy task, even when he was there, and now the legacy is being carried on. So I think the whole idea was that if you have something, or if you gotten, like, let's say, a scholarship or a piece of advice, or by some fortune you got something, share it with others, because that should be your motivation to live your life beyond yourself. So I hope I've covered the three reasons why the book is written.
Yeah, cool. So we've gotten on a really good start. And I think we should take some questions from the audience, because they are really silent. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question to Rahul or Naresh, or both? Please raise your hand using the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen.
I think if you can't raise your hand, if you don't know how to do it, you can just unmute yourself and
just
ask.
Unmute yourself and ask.
Karthik is asking a question. Karthik, yeah.
Yeah, hi. So I guess, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, among the 25 stories, which story was the hardest for you guys to, put together?
Okay, so the thing is that, when you look at the book, let's try to understand what the book is all about from an external perspective. The genius of the book is not in putting 25 stories together. The genius of the book is in coordinating. And Karthik, you are an operations research professor. You know that when you double the number of, when you go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, the complexity increases by n square. So if we were to put, like, stories of 2 people, maybe it's 4 times as complex as putting 1 person's story. But if you're putting 25 people's story, it's going to be 25 to the power 2, right? That's how the complexity increases. So each story, when we were writing, obviously each story is difficult in its own sense. But I would say, and I'll speak from my perspective, maybe Naresh can speak from his perspective. I think that I would pick two. One story which was very difficult to write was obviously Vishrut's, because everybody else was telling their story, but Vishrut's story we were being relayed through his wife, right? And we tried to do justice as much as we can to try to write a story when the person is not there. So that was obviously a very difficult story from purely from a writing point of view, but also from an emotional point of view. That's a very difficult story to write, because when you're writing a story like this and you Vishwat is larger than life. I mean, anybody who has read the story would know. In fact, Vishwat's story is available free of charge. It's publicly available. All the other stories you need to buy the book and read, but Vishwat's story we have made it publicly available because we feel that it's such a powerful story. So then you get impacted by the story itself emotionally. So in that sense, also it was quite a difficult story to write, and also to appreciate what the person lived for, and how his legacy continues. The other story which I would say was difficult, again, Baisakhi, you might know him, Kiran Kumar. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
so
so
Kiran
silent.
is I mean, I was fascinated by his story. So we talk about this concept of do your karma, do your thing, and forget about the result. And he puts it up so he puts it so beautifully. He calls it abhyas and bairag. Abhyas is what you do. Bairag is forget, be detached from the results. And people only talk about it, but I think that guy really lives it. And his story is so phenomenal because he started as a mechanical engineer, then he starts drawing, then he starts dancing, then he goes into art forms, then he looks at temples, sculpture. So it's very fascinating in the way he evolves. And what makes, to me personally, what made that story so difficult is that usually to write whatever stories we have written, we used to, I think, I would say we had a number of ways in which we used to do. We used to send, so first we used to send people some preliminary questions, then we used to interview them, and then if need be, we used to interview them again. So in case of Kiran, we had to really interview multiple times, because everything he spoke was so dense, as if like, a very enlightened person is speaking. And usually we used to use a software which will convert whatever has been said into text, and then when need be, we would go and recheck the audio if the translation or the transliteration was not correct, or if we didn't understand. For me, when I was doing Kiran's story, every line, forget about the transliteration that came, every line I had to hear at least 3 times to understand if I understood it. So from that point of view, it was very dense in the sense that it's a bit like Bhagavad Gita. I mean, 700 words, 700 lines, 1400 lines only, 75 minutes of conversation, but very dense. So I felt Kiran's story was very dense. It was very difficult to write. And funny thing, story has been done, book has come out. We have been trying to contact him to give him the book, or somehow reach out to him and tell him the book is out there. That guy is totally detached, doesn't care. Book is out, not out.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was my batchmate, and he used to, of course, he was into mechanical engineering and all that, but he was always into fashion and body art. And, we even had a competition at the university where he painted 2 of our batchmates, their bodies, and he was very creative in that angle. And I'm glad to know that he's taken this so much forward. And, I think that was his true passion. And I'm glad you got him to tell his story.
Oh, he was very difficult to catch, by the way. Okay, so
Yeah, I know you were asking me, and
yeah,
I
he
had absolutely
was
no
so difficult to
contact.
catch, and
Yeah,
he is amazing. Like, he was doing 2 masters simultaneously in 2 different countries, one in Germany, 2 different continents, one in Germany, one in Hong Kong. And now, of course, I think
yeah.
I don't know what's the latest, but I think he might have finished his PhD now.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
and I think
amazing.
so. Just to
Okay,
add to what
go
Yeah,
on. Naresh.
just to add to what Rahul said, right? So I think apart from these 2 stories that he mentioned, I would say 1 or 2 other stories was one was Aarti Singh's, in the sense that the reason why we got her in the book was with the work that she's doing with her husband and trying to save little children. But after the initial cut of the story, then she again got so busy fighting COVID that she was not interested in just whatever resting on her laurels, but she was doing more work over there. So it was difficult for her to, like, it took us almost a year to try to chase again and get her to be with us to finish her story. So, and I think so it's kind of shows the people who are working on different things, right? They are much beyond having the stories in print and all that. Because they're doing real work all the time. So that was Arti's story. And another story which was very difficult, I think, was Koreans. And Koreans was a story of a person who is trying to find himself, to get the world to accept him due to his sexual orientation, and for him to accept himself as well. And again, that story was different because it was different from other stories which were about some achievement in different fields. So in this case, the achievement was more about just accepting his identity.
Correct.
And that was different, and that whole idea.
And that, in some sense, Naresh, is Ikigai, accepting who you are,
yes,
right? I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
And that made us made us understand the definition of Ikigai more in terms of what Ikigai means. Like, it is beyond just running over something, but even just accepting being in your own blood, like in your own skin. And another thing which is there in his story is stoicism, in the sense that he reached a stage where, despite having multiple injuries and all of that, one of the things he said is that I've run out of, I don't give, and nothing affects me. Nothing affects me. I do not feel emotion in anything. And that is a very unique thing to find in any person. Is you reach a stage where emotions stop affecting you. And he had one of those things in his story. So all of these stories, I think what happened is that in the process of learning about each person, we had to go through an emotional journey as well. And we had to work on every story until the emotional content got right. It was not just about presenting facts like a CV or something. So I think it was a big churning in that entire process. And since you asked for the difficult stories, I think one easy story that we got was Swamiji's, Swami Turiyananda, which is such a fascinating story. But he pretty much wrote his entire story in one sitting, 4 hours or something, and he gave us pretty much a very beautiful piece where we didn't have to do much work at all. And it was one of those early stories that got completed, and it's beautiful right from the outset. And it's a story of a person who went on to become an investment banker and then gave it all up to become a sadhu. Right?
It was the sample story you sent all of us.
Yes, it was a sample story. So, but it's such a beautiful story, and it was easy for us because he did a lot of that thinking. So some stories were easier, some were more difficult. And I think, Baisakhi, your story was also one of the difficult ones, I'd say. Maybe Rahul would agree, because you had so much, and you are such a varied personality who has achieved so many things. And trying to understand you and trying to do justice to your story from a reader's perspective and trying to bring about the emotional content was also, I think challenging. And by the time we finished your story, I think we were both very happy with it. And even the changes that you suggested were very minor, but overall with the sense that I think we were happy. So even now, when a lot of people ask me, yours is one of the stories I give out to people, in terms of
wow. I'm glad to know that. There was just so much to say. I myself didn't know which aspect to express and which aspect to suppress,
So it was like that for us also, because you see, you need a central theme in each story, right? So with your story, because you're so multi-talented, multifaceted, we were struggling to box it, unfortunately. That's how you one way or the other, you're forced to box things. So we're trying to box you, and we were not able to put you inside the box.
I realized that, when you were editing it, and I realized that was a really hard job that you guys did and managed to bring it within the word limit or page limit. And
we were very happy that you were happy with the outcome which came out, right?
I saw the editing, the work that you did on that story. So I was like, these guys did a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Baisakhi. And one of the things, one of your pictures in the story, where one of the 5, in every story we have tried to include about 5 pictures. So in your story, we have one picture where you're standing on top of a mountain and sort of with your arms open to the sky. And I think that picture represents the book in some ways, in terms of what finding Ikigai means in something. So
that thing, it's not a mountain, it's called like a tabletop mountain. So these are flat mountains, and they are only found in South America. They are not there in any other continent. And it took us like 6 days backpacking to reach the mountain top in very, very bad weather. And ultimately, when we reached there, we were like so happy that we were on top of it. And it was such a steep climb, like where I was standing, one step on the other side and you fall to your death. So yeah, that's a very interesting picture. And one of our backpackers took that picture, and it was not even, I never had camera when I was traveling, and every picture that I took from my travels were from friends who tagged me on Facebook, and that is how I got those pictures. So anyways, here is a question from one of our audience, Aditya Narayanan, and he is asking this question for himself. What do you suggest to someone who is trying to find his true north even after turning 35?
Yeah. So first of all, forget you're 35.
And Rahul, one thing, Aditya, could you turn on your camera while Rahul is answering your question? It would be nice to see people if you don't mind.
At least unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Yes, thank you, Aditya. Yeah.
So Aditya, I would say forget your 35, whatever. So that's the beginning. You start with broadening yourself, not constricting yourself. In fact, in the book, the very last few pages, there is an exercise that says find your Ikigai. And there are 3 prerequisites for that. Number 1, it says be honest, which is no brainer. Number 2, it says it's about you, it's not about others, because you are trying to figure out your own Ikigai. So it's not about what your parents expect you to be, what your wife expects you to be, or what your kids want you to be. It's about you, because that is how you will discover your Ikigai. And the last one is exactly what, in the sense which I said, is that you need to believe that there is no constraint. You have absolute free will. And that includes, by the way, that you need to believe that you don't have any constraints like money, age, skill. So you have to start from that. And then once you start from there, then you need to think about, okay, now if I start from here, I need to think, what am I really passionate about? First of all, a lot of people will struggle with that even. Very few people will even realize what their passion is. And most people will go from cradle to grave without figuring out what their passion is. So first step, identify what your passion is. Then within that passion, you have to then see in this passion, what skills of mine can I put to use to solve a problem? And not just solve a problem, but get paid for it. Only when all of these come together, then you find your Ikigai. So Aditya, if you go through the exercise, which is at the back of the book, you will be able to figure out your Ikigai.
And one more thing to add is that I think Ikigai is not something which is one thing for all your life. You will have different Ikigais that you're looking for at different phases of your life. So when you were 15, you had a different Ikigai you were looking for. When you were 25, it was different. Now you're 35, you're different. So when you're 45 or 50, again, you'll have a new Ikigai that you might be searching for, because you would have lived your current Ikigai for the next 10, 15 years. And maybe that continues, but maybe something else, it evolves into something else. So life is a constant process of uncovering and discovering, right? And really trying to find ourselves and find life and connect. So age is just a number. In fact, the ISKCON founder, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, right, who's known as Prabhupada, he was 69 when he gave up, left for India without any money and all that, into a ship, and then he
left
went
for
on
US.
left for US in a ship, and then he went on to found this huge collection of temples all over the world, which are like beautiful in terms of the way are, and rich temples, right? It comes with hostels and a huge network all over the world, pretty much. And he was 69. So when people talk about age, I give as example, like, it doesn't matter at what age you start.
By the way, Trump was also 69.
Yeah, but Trump had already achieved a lot in a lot of different ways. But that, yeah. So again,
so that you're right, and that's where I want to bring this point. Like if you look at Alexander, he started at 26, finished at 32, whatever he had to do, right? Similarly, as Naresh was saying, some people start at 69. So age is not. And look at Vishrut. In 44 years, he has packed 88 years of life.
Yeah.
And Trump is a good example of a person who had different Ikigai in terms of different points in life. So maybe when he was younger, he wanted to be a rich man, but when he was like 69, he wanted to be the president. So it's again an example of how your Ikigai might change at different phases.
Yeah, so
I really
I will
liked
just
that.
add something there, if people understand Hindi or Urdu. So there is this Urdu saying which I like very much. It says fitur hota hai har umr mein juda juda, which means fitur is basically junoon or whatever you're passionate about. Fitur hota hai har umr mein juda juda, bachpane mein khilona, jawani mein maashuka, budhape mein rutba. So I think
What does rutba mean?
rutba means रुतबा कैसे ट्रांसलेट करेंगे?
आपका समाज में क्या नाम है?
सम्मान,
रुतबा या सम्मान.
Yeah. Acha, how people know you? It's like your identity. Your yeah.
So it says बचपने में खिलौना, जवानी में माशूका, which is lover, beloved, and बुढ़ापे में रुतबा.
Yeah, I really liked that fact, what you told this guy, that forget that you are 35, because age is just a number, and time is the same. Many yogis and all, they frequently experience timelessness and agelessness. So I don't think you should look at your age and consider yourself a failure in life if you haven't done anything, or if you haven't achieved what others have achieved. You cannot see others' shadows. You don't know what what failures they are dealing with, because they are only showing you their success. So I think this thing that you said, that forget your age, at any moment you can stumble upon your Ikigai, and that Ikigai constantly changes throughout your life, right? To summarize.
So I would say this way, how do you know it's your Ikigai? I think that's very important. And Naresh and I both believe that you already have your Ikigai in you. So it's like, I think this is a made-up story, but nonetheless, I'll say, when somebody asked Michelangelo, how do you make this sculpture out of the stone? And he says, the sculpture is already there. I'm just removing the extra stones, right? I mean, so humble of him to say that. I'm just removing the extra bits.
This is what Anita Murjani told me in our interview, that this is a really, really good concept. I think we all come here on earth with our passions inside of us, with our purpose. And I think what you said, you just have to sculpt away remove what is not necessary.
Remove the non-essentials and focus on the core. Focus on the core. And then Ikigai is like that. It's like, how do you know you are following your Ikigai? It's like, as I say, when you do something and you feel light like a cork as opposed to heavy as a stone, that's when you know. If you are going to office, you're feeling heavy, no, it's not your Ikigai.
And if you're not enjoying it, right?
If you're not enjoying it, because then you will feel heavy, right? I mean, and life is like that. Like, you have a desired state and you have a current state. The more distance you have, the more stressful you will feel and the more unhappy you will get. So it's about bridging this gap. Your reality and where you want to be, you need to bridge that. If you're not bridging it, you will be more and more unhappy. You may earn a lot of money. You may also become very famous. I mean, a lot of media people, lot of Hollywood actors, Bollywood actors, they have money, they have fame, but still unhappy.
And they commit suicide, and they are into drugs and all that. One thing I wanted to add here, when you are following your passion, or when you are following your Ikigai, even though the path is very difficult, even though the path is very hard, you will feel inside that you are fighting the good fight.
And
that's
the confidence that you can overcome it.
Yes.
So Ikigai is exactly that. Ikigai is resilience. So the way I like to say it, like, you see, life is full of struggles. No denying that, for everybody and anybody, right? So you see, Ikigai is like that sugar. When you're down on energy, it can pump you, right? Because you need that, right? And happiness is a bit like salt, right? So if your food is not lacking salt, it's not that you can't survive, but if you sprinkle a little bit of salt or a little bit of pickle, it makes the food tasty, right? So happiness is like the sprinkling of, but you can't fill your stomach with pickles, you can't fill your stomach with salt, right?
Correct.
So if you want to fill your life with only happiness, it's not going to happen. So when your life is not sprinkling those salts and pickles in your food, at that time you still need to go on. So glucose will take you there. I mean, it may not give you protein and anything else. So Ikigai is like that glucose that keeps you to go ahead and forward.
Right. And you feel it inside that, you know, this is where I want to struggle, because no matter which path you choose in life, it will always be difficult. So might as well choose the path of your heart, you know, that path which gives you passion, because at least you will feel an inner sense of achievement and joy, which you won't feel if you are on a path that is not meant for you, that every day when you wake up to go to work, you resist it. So that's how you know that is not your path. And then you should do some soul searching and figure out what is your path.
And the example I like to give here is the car example, right? So your life is like a car, but you need to know who is in the driver's seat. If you are not in the driver's seat, then somebody else will push around your car, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in the driver's seat, even if the road is bumpy, you know how to control it. And there is a joy in driving that. And the fuel that will be fueling your car is actually your Ikigai. That is your fuel. That is your petrol. That is your gas. You know.
Very good metaphor. That's a wonderful
and
metaphor.
Where you want to be, those milestones.
Very nice, Rahul. Very good. Very good example.
And one.
So I'll just complete that thing. So the why are you doing this in that car? Why are you going somewhere? That why is your fuel. And how you want to go there, that's your roadmap. How do I want to go there? And the last thing, where you want to go, that's the what. So I'm trying to connect the what, how, and the why here. So your why needs to be very clear. Why am I doing this? Once the why is clear, you will figure out, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to achieve? And then the roadmap automatically falls in place. The how is not a problem. But the problem with most of us is that we don't know the why. We know the what, and we're trying to figure out the how without knowing why we are in this. So speed becomes more important than direction.
Very true. Very true.
There was when I was growing up, right, there used to be a book around my house, which was a big inspiration to me. On the title of the book, there was a quote by somebody called Pushkar Lal Kedia, and that it said that Har manav mein छिपी हुई है दिव्य गुणों की आग, दिल से मर्म शिखा बस छू दो, तुरंत उठेगी जाग. And which means that inside every person is a fire of divine qualities. Just touch it with all your heart and it will immediately set ablaze. And it had examples of various people, and it said that how Ratnakar became Valmiki, how Narendra became Vivekananda, how Mohandas became Mahatma Gandhi, right? And these were all very ordinary people. They were not like very extraordinary people, but something in their like arose in them, right? Like how Kalidas became from a person who was considered the stupidest person, and then he became one of the most renowned Sanskrit poets ever. So you have all of these very simple people who some incident or something which lit the spark in them, and then they went on to achieve, if it's say in the terms of what you're using now, is the Ikigai, or basically their heed to their calling, and then they became those huge great people that we remember now across after centuries and generations. So it is that dust which is there. I think what Rahul mentioned, the example of Michelangelo earlier, is that spark is already there in us, or that form, or the beautiful sculpture is already there. We just have to trim away the external things, or if there's some dust covering us, right, we just have to remove the dust. And some people think that they're not good enough because that dust is always covering us. And unfortunately, our world is full of people who will keep telling you that you're not good enough. Somebody or the other will keep commenting on us, and the entire life of us is in trying to tell people that no, I'm good enough, or even to tell yourself. So it's not so much the stories that other people tell us, it's what stories are we telling ourselves. Are we telling ourselves that I'm not good enough, or are we telling ourselves that no, I have that spark and I can do what I want? So the moment you decide that no, you're good enough, and that's when the journey begins. Because people spend, I think, far too many years.
I'll just add something there. Aditya, this is for you. You see, what makes something more difficult at 35 than as opposed to, let's say, you're 15? So a couple of things I would say is that this is what I say in all my talks, that, you know, you need to look at your life backwards. If today were your last day, would you call it a success? And if not, then what would you change? And if you know you need to change something, then what are you waiting for? Because you really don't know you're going to live 50. You really don't know that. Your time starts now. And that's the beauty or the irony of life, that your lifeline is also your deadline. And you don't know when that deadline suddenly hits. So start changing now. So don't worry about I think most people get worried about, okay, I'm 35, what if I fail? Don't think of what if I will fail. Do your effort. Nobody can guarantee you whether you will fail or succeed. Just go on. And the other point which Naresh was saying is that there are a lot of people around you who will try to tell you why you're not good enough, why you can't do this. So there I would say this is, you need to do the ABCD of life, which is A is association. Choose wisely who you associate with. B is books. Books are very powerful. Be wise which books you read. C is choice. Be prudent about the choices you make. So this ABC affects your D. D is your destination or destiny, whatever you call it. So be very mindful of who you associate with, what books you read, and what choices you make in life.
Yeah, I think that the thing about
Fantastic.
who you associate with is such an important thing, that like you are who you are with pretty much, and people you are with have a very profound influence on you, and you both end up influencing each other a lot. So I think that is a very, very important thing to do in terms of choosing the people. And it happens naturally because I think we are drawn to people who are like-minded to us. But again, being more conscious about it, I think if you can associate where you want to get into life, well, naturally you'll be drawn to the kind of people who will help. What Rahul was talking about, the how. They will lead you to. They will help with the how part once you know the why, and the people you associate with will help you with the how at the moment. Some people help you with the why as well, who are with your well-wishers and who motivate you and especially are there for you when you are down.
Great. So
I just want to say thank you.
Well,
thank you.
You're most welcome, and thanks for asking that question.
And Baisakhi,
is there
Auntie was
anyone
saying
else?
something. Auntie was saying something, I think.
मैं कुछ कहना चाहती हूँ. कहूँ? हिंदी में बोलूँ? I am comfortable in Hindi.
हाँ, आंटी हिंदी में बोलो.
After Vishw's demise, it was shocking for us. बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब हमारे लिए वो था, क्योंकि कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा था कि क्या करें क्या ना करें. Then one day I was sitting और मुझे लगा कि विश्व मुझे बोल रहा है कि मम्मी ये सब क्या करेंगे आप? You should not do that. और I believe in कि हम आत्मा यहीं रहती है और कहीं जाती नहीं है. तो मुझे लगा कि वो मुझे कह रहा है, because बचपन से हम उनको यही सिखाते थे कि जो भी तुम करना है लोगों की भलाई के लिए करो, या जो भी कुछ है उनको जितनी भी चीजों से रूबरू कराया तो वो उनको घर से ही ये सारी चीजें मिलती हैं. मैंने राहुल से तो बहुत बात करी है इस विषय में. तो फिर मुझे लगा कि जब सब कुछ अच्छा होता है ना तो आप बहुत ज्यादा दिमाग इधर उधर नहीं लगाते हो. हमारी लाइफ बहुत स्मूथ चली थ्रू आउट माई दिस 2 years तक. विश्व भी बहुत अच्छा था, श्रुति भी बहुत अच्छी पढ़ने में थी, डॉक्टर साहब बहुत अच्छा कर रहे थे. I was also teaching in City Montessori, तो हम भी ठीक ठाक था सब कुछ. तो कभी कुछ और सोचा ही नहीं. पर जब विश्व का ये हुआ तो मतलब एक झटका सा लगा. तो मुझे लगा कि अब मुझको अपना पैशन विश्व के पैशन से मिला देना चाहिए. और देन आई स्टार्टेड. तो एज की जो बात हो रही थी तो मैंने तो इस एज में स्टार्ट किया है. एंड इन 2 years मैंने इतना काम किया है और इतना मैं लोगों के टच में आ गई हूँ. और अब मुझे लगता है कि ठीक है, वो दुख तो खैर अपनी जगह है और वो हमेशा रहेगा और उससे तो हमें कभी निजात मिल ही नहीं सकती है. बट ये है कि अब हम जब लोगों के साथ में जाके, मैंने अपना इकिगाई यही बना लिया है कि मैं कितनी लोगों को सहायता कर सकती हूँ, कितने लोगों के पास कितनों की लाइफ को टच कर सकती हूँ. और अगर मेरे कहने से एक व्यक्ति भी अगर अच्छा हो जाता है तो मैं अपनी जिंदगी को बहुत सार्थक समझूंगी. तो ना आई हैव स्टार्टेड दिस और मुझे इसमें इतना अच्छा लग रहा है, इतनी खुशी मिल रही है. और ऐसा लग रहा है कि शायद मेरा इकिगाई यही था शुरू से. पर मैंने वही जो उसने बोला ना कि आपके पास होता है पर आप उस पर इतनी सारी सब कुछ चढ़ा हुआ होता है कि आपको पता नहीं चलता है. तो अब मेरा खुद समझ में आ गया है कि मुझको भी अब वही अच्छा लग रहा है और इसमें मेरे को बहुत संतुष्टि भी मिल रही है. तो इसलिए एज के बारे में मत सोचिए. मैंने अब लिखना भी शुरू किया है, मेरी बुक्स भी अब आ रही हैं. मैं 3 बुक्स लिख चुकी हूँ, मेरी 4थी बुक आ रही है. और विश्व से मैंने ये वादा किया है कि एवरी बर्थडे उसकी मैं उसको एक बुक प्रेजेंट करूंगी. जो मेरा 1 साल का अनुभव होता है वो मैं उसको लिख डालती हूँ और उसको मैं पब्लिश कराती हूँ. तो इसलिए प्लीज कभी मत सोचो कि उम्र क्या है, जो करना है, जो आपको अच्छा लगता है, स्टार्ट इट एंड देन यू विल फील कि हमने जो जन्म लिया है वो हमने सिद्ध कर लिया है, वो हम सिद्ध कर सकते हैं अपनी करनी से। थैंक यू।
And Auntie, I want to say something. मेरी school, I studied in Sikkim, and मेरा एक classmate है Rohan Sharma. He has his younger brother. He died, I think, a year or two ago, and his mother was a teacher in my school, and she has been suffering a lot in the sense that she is not able to take the loss of her son, and you know what that means. And she
I know.
every single day is like so tough for her. And I did tell her when I last spoke to her that she should try to put his memories in the form of a book and to start writing that down. But if you would be so kind, I would like to put you in touch with her, so that you, as a mother who has lost a child, lost a son, could speak to another mother who's lost a son, and maybe with your life and with your work, you could inspire her to get over her grief and put that towards a purpose.
Sure, पक्का पक्का, आई एम डूइंग दैट। मैं हर महीने लेती हूँ, मीटिंग करती हूँ, तो उसमें जो इस तरह की लेडीज हैं, मतलब इतनी मिजरेबल लाइफ जी रही थी, मैंने बोला कि अब तो जो कुछ हो गया है सो हो गया है, नाउ वी हैव टू डू समथिंग। आप अपने लिए नहीं, देखो एक बात मैं बताऊं, जब इस तरह का कोई हादसा होता है तो आप अंदर से तो मर ही चुके होते, मुझे तो ऐसा ही लगता है अपने लिए। बट फिर ठीक है, मैं अपने लिए नहीं जिंदा रहूंगी, अब दूसरों के लिए जिंदा रहेंगे। नाउ वी हैव टू डू, मैं जो भी कुछ कर रही हूँ लोगों की भलाई के लिए कर रही हूँ, और मेरा एवरी डे मेरी लोगों की भलाई के लिए, मैं सोचती रहती हूँ मैं क्या करूँ, मैं उनके लिए क्या कर सकती हूँ, और यही मेरी जिंदगी का भी इकिगाई हो गया। एंड आई एम फीलिंग गुड। ऐसा नहीं है, विश्व का दुख तो रहेगा ही, पर ये लाइफ जो मुझे अब मिली है, जो मैं अब जी रही हूँ, क्योंकि पैसा रुपया मैंने देख लिया, इन सब चीजों से कुछ नहीं होता है। विश्रुत के पास तो करोड़ों रुपए थे, ही वॉज वेरी वेल्दी, और 1 मिनट में चला गया, उसके पैसों का क्या हुआ? तो अब तो मुझे पैसों का कतई, कोई अगर पैसे की बात करता है तो मुझे बिल्कुल अच्छी भी नहीं लगती है, कि पैसा कुछ नहीं है इस दुनिया में। आप वो जो कुछ करके गया है आज एवरीवेयर, चाहे वो सिंगापुर हो चाहे इंडिया हो, हर तरफ उसका नाम हो रहा है, बिकॉज सीएमएस में भी उसने बहुत कुछ करा। तो उसके दो मैनेजर ये कहते हैं कि मेरी जिंदगी का जो मैंने सीएमएस खोला है, उसमें मैंने अपनी जिंदगी का एक विश्रुत जैसा बच्चा पैदा करके अपनी जिंदगी को सार्थक कर लिया। ही सेज इन फ्रंट ऑफ एवरीवन। तो बहुत कुछ वो कर गया है, ठीक है, हमारे लिए बहुत दुख की बात है, पर एक गर्व की भी बात है, और मुझे तो वो मेरा इकिगाई देके के चला गया है, मैं तो यही कहूंगी।
Thank you, Auntie.
Amazing. I think our president, Mr. Arul Murugan, wants to say something here. So let's hear him. Mr. Arul Murugan, could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. A very good morning to Saha. Thank you for wonderful moderating, and I'm very hats off to Mr. Rahul Singh and Mr. Naresh Agarwal sir for doing such a great job in making, bringing a wonderful concept of Ikigai, uniting all the scholars and multifaceted personality through this book. I really surprised. How did you manage timings apart from your professional work? What you're doing, how did you collaborate? Timings, because you are in such a position. I am working in ISRO, in scientific area. Apart from that, I'm doing paintings, and also I'm running small gallery, art gallery. I'm kept myself occupied completely, and also I like dance, music, like all you guys doing. So I want to know, how do you manage timings and to bring all to you together and make this book to come as a fruitful acknowledgement.
Rahul, you're muted.
Yeah, simple answer is that it's about priorities, right? What matters to you? And I get asked this question a lot about how do I manage my time? I think Naresh might also be, because he's also, if you read his bio, it says he's an academician, he's a painter, he's an author, he's a speaker, he's a learner. So he's like so many things rolled into one, almost like a modern Da Vinci. So how do you get time? That's the question. So I can speak on my behalf. Maybe Naresh can speak on his behalf. So there are few things which free up a lot of my time. Number one, and none of this I do because I'm sacrificing something. I don't do those because those don't excite me. I don't drink. I'm always sober. So I'm always active. right? I don't watch TV, not because just because it doesn't appeal to me. I personally am not into movies, not into music. I mean, people might be their own choices. I don't play much of sports either. So that basically frees up a lot of my time to then do what matters to me. I like writing. I just love writing. It's just me, what defines me. So after a long day, if you ask somebody, what do you want to do to relax yourself? People might give you different answers. Some people might say, okay, after a long day, I want to hit the bar. I want to like drink. Some others may tell you after a long day, I want to swim. Somebody else might tell you after a long day, I want to watch TV. For me, that relaxation is writing. I just love it. So I think the answer to your question is to manage time. Of course, we have so many different things that we need to balance, right? On one side, you have your professional time, where you probably spend 8 to 10 to 12 hours of your day, which is your work. Then you have your family time, where you are as parents or as children, you are answerable to either your parents or to your kids or to your wife. So that's your other time. And the third bucket, if you at all have any time left after all this, is your me time, right? So the art is to somehow try and balance these without feeling that you're sacrificing something. And it is hard, but then if you think about it, we do a lot of things that are basically unessential, maybe not something that you value. And this is where I do that test, which I was telling Aditya as well. Look your life backwards and do that test every time. Would this matter to me if I'm on the deathbed? If not, then it's nonsense. Remove. Simple test.
Okay. And how
Yeah,
many
so
hours do you sleep, Mr. Rahul? I want to know how many hours do you sleep?
I sleep quite few hours. That's something I'm trying
okay,
to improve.
okay, Arul, let me
You
answer this.
sacrificed sports and you sacrificed watching nice movies, Bollywood movies.
No. That's what I said. I have not sacrificed any of this.
Okay.
So here is the thing. I don't sacrifice anything in my life. I only do things that excite me. I don't sacrifice anything. If I want to watch a movie, so I watch movies, but my way of watching movies is very weird, if you will see. So in December, I watch movies in December, and I only watch Hindi movies because I can't relate to the Hollywood movies. Emotionally, I don't feel connected to them somehow.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would look at the list of movies released that year, and I would read the synopsis, and I would say, I want to watch this one because this sound kind of resonates with me. So a very different way of watching movie, and I will probably watch 1 or 2 movies, and that too maybe at my home. I seldom go to a movie theater to watch, but not because I'm sacrificing something. You see, whenever you feel that you're sacrificing something, rethink. You should not
You're
be
right,
sacrificing
actually.
anything.
Yeah, you're right. Unless you sacrifice, we cannot do what we really have, that Ikigai.
But I'm saying ulta rule. I'm saying don't sacrifice anything. Never do anything with the feeling of sacrifice. Do what excites you. You will never feel you're sacrificing anything. Like there is a saying, right? If you do what you love, you will have to never work again in your life. Why? Because you're doing what you love. So you don't have. It's not a job
You're right.
anymore.
You're right. I love movies, but as you say, no, I will not choose all the movies. Selectively, I'll see. It's really worth meaningful that way.
You have to optimize. You have to optimize. At some point, you have to see that I only have this much time. In this much time, what can I do? But I think that Naresh wanted to add something to that.
Yeah. So one of the things I think, as Rahul, I think I also end up getting like 4 to 6 hours of sleep, and I always I make resolutions and use a sleep app on my thing to say that okay, I should, not because I can't sleep, just because I don't go to bed on time, and then I have to wake up again to put my son in the school bus and all that. But it's so I think what ends up being sacrificed is my sleep, which I think is wrong, because we all, in all the buckets that we have, right, increasingly I realize that your health is the biggest bucket, because once that is there, you can do everything else, otherwise you can do nothing. And even in health, you have your diet, and you have your sleep, and you have your exercise. So even in all of these buckets, your sleep is actually the most important, because if you have slept enough, then you can exercise, and then you can do the other things. So sleep is actually one of the biggest buckets, and trying to schedule 8.5 hours of sleeping time or going to bed early is actually important. But anybody who knows me will say that I do not have the authority to say that, because I don't follow it myself. But I'd say that that's one thing that I need to work on towards my Ikigai. If I say fixing my sleep hours, that's one thing. But in terms of achieving those things or whatever else you want to do, right? Once you know the why, I think once you have the clarity, I think by the time, I'm not sure, maybe Rahul got that in his 30s, and maybe I started getting that in my 30s, and by the time you reach your 40s, you kind of know what you want to do, because before that you're trying to get somewhere in life, bada ho ke kya banna hai, right? And then you realize that kahin banna nahi hai, ban gaye bade, like jo banna tha. Ab kahin nahi ja rahe, you're just going towards your death, right? So then you think that, okay, now you want to do the things that you want to do, especially those things that you couldn't do growing up. So now is the time to do that. So at the age of 40, I started learning like Hindustani music, not because I can sing really well, but because I wanted to learn that. So for the last 4 years, I've been learning that. So it's about doing all those things that you want to do, because the whole idea is about, even if you write, if you don't write a book, if you write 1 book or 10 books or 100 books, actually it doesn't matter. It is useless in the sense that it is only the meaning that we attach to it. On its own, it is meaningless. So if we are not having fun doing it, then what we do becomes completely is nullified. So one of the things which I like to tell people is that I do not want to do a single thing in my life which causes stress, either to me or to other people. So I want to do everything stress-free. That is my single motto. So I tell people that you ask me to walk a marathon with you, I will do. But you ask me to run a sprint, I won't. So the thing is, everything has to be something that you're enjoying every part of your journey, because if we do not enjoy the journey, the destination is useless completely. Because in life, right, one of the quotes that I hear about that I love is from Alan Watts. So he says that people tell you that life is a journey, and he says they lie. They'll tell you that first you're supposed to finish school, then you're supposed to go to college, then you're supposed to get a job, and then get married and have kids and wait for the kids to get married and all those things. He says that no, life is not a journey. Life is just a party, and in that party, the music is playing, and at some point the music will stop playing. So it is our choice whether we dance while the music is playing or not, because the music will stop playing. So whether we do not listen to the music and ignore the music, or we dance while the music plays, that is all life that matters. So if we do not learn to enjoy the music while it is playing, then we have wasted every part of life. So it doesn't matter what we are doing, even if we can spend a life sleeping by the beach, or we can spend a life writing books or learning music or doing dance or anything else. But the act of it is not important, because 500 years later, nobody will care about maybe this book or my research papers or anything else that you're doing. But while we are living each day, are we really living at each day the time that we've been given, the music that is playing, to our fullest potential or not? And that could be anything from doing dishes at home, or to cleaning a house, or talking to someone, or learning something. So we have to be aware of that, of a limited time on earth. And as Rahul was telling Aditya, that we do not know what that time is, right? So whatever time that is, so in every single day, we have to live that day fully. Because no matter what you're doing, that being aware of that life that we've been given, that is the most important thing. So I think a lot of times people get drawn to this idea of success or reaching somewhere. There's no success. It is what we attach something as success in our own minds. Somebody else might be looking at our lives and thinking of something else as success, but we come up with our own personal definition of success. So I think each day learning, living each day fully being thankful for our lives, being thankful for the music that's playing, that I think is the most important thing. And what we do is not more important. We will find things to do because we have to fill time anyways.
Yeah, I think one thing I would just a couple of things I'll add here. This idea of success, it's very fleeting, and also both for Naresh and us, it was like a revelation that we thought, okay, we are going to reach out to these people and say, we are going to include you in the book, and everybody would be jumping, oh yeah, including me in the book. Okay, yeah, let's do this. But it was ulta. No, we were chasing those people because nobody cared about our book. Like, people are busy doing what they really believe in. They don't care whether you publish a book on them. They don't care whether you put them on the newspaper. They don't care whether you put them on TV. I mean, actually, in some sense, we were happy that we were chasing these kind of people, because then we knew we were chasing the right people. Because if you are chasing people who want to be in the book, then probably your selection process is full with people who want to be, right? But then we were going after people for whatever reason. Our assumption of that people want to be covered in a book or covered in a magazine or covered in a radio, that was not true. So then we realized, okay, these people don't care about this because it doesn't matter to them. They will do what they're doing anyways, whether you cover them, whether you don't cover them. The other thing which Naresh was mentioning, about Alan Watts, the music and goes on, and you need to enjoy the music. And people would often say, and Baisakhi, this applies to you, people will say, I love traveling. They don't love traveling, they love arriving. Nobody loves traveling. They love arriving, right? You arrive at a place and you enjoy that place. So I think in life you need to understand that you're already arrived. I mean, there is just you are there. Just enjoy whatever is happening. And the last thing I wanted to add here was with regards to health, which Naresh mentioned. So I like to give this banana and the monkey analogy. And what I say is that if you go to a monkey, and if you give monkey choice that, hey, I'm going to give you one banana versus $100, what do you think the monkey is going to pick up?
It's the banana only.
Banana. Why? Because the monkey doesn't know that with $100 I can buy 100 more bananas. Monkey doesn't know that. And we are all monkeys. If you give us a choice of good health versus more money, invariably we will choose more money. We will spoil our health. We will work hard. We will do everything so that we get more money, because we are monkeys. We don't know if we have our health, we can get more money anytime.
Correct.
So you try to earn $10, then you spend $1,000 to regain your health.
Yeah, and the point that Rahul talked about, like people not wanting the story in the book. In fact, like my story is in the book as one of the 25 stories now, but it was not supposed to be that way. Like my story was an extra bonus author story at the end, and we had a separate 25 stories. So one of the protagonists pulled out his story at the last moment before it went to print. So then we had to readjust the proofs and put my story as one of the 25 stories.
Oh,
and because
really?
he felt that at this moment, like this book is not big enough for what he is doing now, and so his story is much bigger than that. So it was like interesting thing for us to see that, you know, a lot of people were not ready to have the stories, and we in a way it shattered our pride, because we thought, oh, our book is so big that everybody will jump to have their stories in it, and so that was like a good lesson. And I think so, which means that people are even that word rutba, which I think Rahul was talking about, like, you know, budhape mein rutba aata hai. So some people are not concerned about rutba, that whole fame thing.
अभी बूढ़े नहीं हुए ना कुछ लोग.
So really good anyway.
That's true. That's true. Baisakhi, we have been 90 minutes into this call, so
Yeah,
I can continue. I continue. I don't know how Naresh's situation is. I can continue. If
No,
people want to continue,
I can continue too if people are interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing to that. You know, I feel that when you find your passion, you will find time for it, you know, because you're so excited about it. You want to do it, you know. So it is people who haven't exactly stumbled upon their passion, or that inner thing doesn't call to them so strongly that they are, you know, saying, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for this. Because for me, doing your passion means you can do it for nothing, meaning that even if nobody pays you for it, you still do it because it calls you so much, you know. And then you can think of ways to monetize your passion, but at the beginning you should only sit and try to figure out what it is that pings your inner ding.
Yeah, because you can't be doing the right thing for the wrong reason, you know, and the biggest wrong reason is money.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
So money colors a lot of things in life.
Like, you know, when I was traveling, people always say, like, I had students in South America and Central America, and at the beginning of every class I used to ask my students, what is your biggest dream? And 90% of them would say traveling the world. And I'll be like, so what's stopping you? Oh, teacher, I don't have money. Teacher, I'm building a house. Teacher, I will travel after I retire. All those are just excuses, because when I traveled, I had nothing. You know, sometimes I didn't even have money for the air tickets. So you just need the will, you know, and the path, the steps will be revealed to you as you take one step, the next step will be revealed. The entire way will not be revealed to you at the beginning of your journey.
Okay, on that I will add something. You know, when you want to, let's say, go on a long path, dark long path in a forest, and you take a torch with you and you say, oh, I need to go 100 kilometers, but this torch only shows me 10 meters. But that is how the torch is. The torch is only going to show you 10 meters. You just walk 10 meters, then the torch will show you another 10 meters. And before you know, the 100 kilometers is gone. But if you want to stand here and say, okay, I want to see the 100 kilometers right now before I start, not going to happen.
Exactly.
So,
okay, here are some
Baisakhi,
comments from some of the participants.
I wanted to add something, Baisakhi, at this point.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So what happened was that I just happened to have a long conversation with. So I've been doing an art course for the past 7 months as part of like one of my titles is learner, right? So I keep learning something. So I've been learning fine arts to try to get better at it. And there, one of my classmates in that, so she and I ended up having a long conversation, and because she got very emotional in that process, in that sense that she says that she's not happy in her job and she finds that she's kind of stuck in a wall. And then I asked her, like, so what do you want to do? And then she said, I want to travel. Okay. And then she talked about that whole idea of what is stopping her. So then and she knew that I had written Rahul and I, we have this book out. And then, and I told her that, see, in our book, right, there's one story of Baisakhi Saha, and who wanted to travel, and you should maybe if that story is there. And she told me that at that moment, she said that in the course of a conversation while we were talking to her, she said that I have already ordered the book in the meanwhile while we were talking. And she said, I wanted to surprise you with a picture of it, but now that you asked me that, yes, the book is there. Like,
amazing. Okay, I think we can really go on and on with this, but some people are leaving because it's been like more than 1.5 hours. So yes, Mr. Murugan, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you so much for the deep conversation. And one small request at the end of the session. So I would like to see all your talent like dance and narrators, paintings, and Rahul's other extracurricular activities. If you make a small group, WhatsApp group, it'll be more beneficial to all the members. Probably, who are interested to explore more, they can come into the group. So that we
so this is for all the audience who are still here. There are these NTU alumni WhatsApp groups that you can join and stay connected with everybody, and also join these kind of sessions in the near future. I want to read some of the people, I think, who left. They have left some nice comments here for the authors and for everybody. So let's just read them. Sunil says, awesome discussion. Thank you very much, Rahul, Naresh, and all. Karthik Natarajan says, thanks for the session. All the best with the book. Ashwini Kumar Sahu says, thanks all. Very good to hear your it just went off. Thanks all. Very good to hear your thoughts and about the book. Shruti says, thanks for the stimulating discussion. These should be a regular thing. So people want more. Sujit Kumar Sinha says, thanks. It was nice to hear. And Rahul Singh has added the links to the chat groups on WhatsApp. So you can find in the chat section the links to the WhatsApp groups, as well as the links to buy the books.
One thing more I would like to add here. Yes, these should be more. They should be more regular. What happens, in our schools and colleges, we have teachers for physics, chemistry, commerce, art, Hindi, English. We even have teachers for teaching you physical education these days, but you don't have a teacher to teach you happiness. No teacher to teach you what you're gonna do in your life. And to that effect, both Naresh and I want to reach out to as many schools as we can to at least talk about Ikigai. At least students will start thinking about it. So if you want us, if you can connect us to your schools, it'll be great. We don't charge for this, but we really want to do this because we think it's going to help them.
I'll plan.
Okay. Great. Before we close, are there any other links that you would like to share with the audience? Maybe your website or social media handles where people can follow you or learn more about your work? Maybe you can leave those links in the chat section, and whoever is interested can follow you. I will also leave a link to my website here. All right. I think we should call it a day. I'm going to summarize with a paragraph that Rahul gave me. So the Japanese word Ikigai means reason for being. Think of what you love, what you are good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. When these come together, you get your Ikigai. However, Ikigai can be beyond these 4 components and doesn't have to include any or all of them. The moments you live fully, engaging in a hobby or pursuit, learning, connecting with people, being useful, choosing empathy over apathy, and being in the present, make your Ikigai. You can have more than one Ikigai, and it can change with time. You already have your Ikigai. You just need to discover it. So I think that's a very wonderful way to put the whole concept behind Ikigai. And so I'm going to go ahead and close this session. Truly, that was an enlightening discussion we had today, and I am blown away by all the ideas shared here. And I am sure we all have a wonderful message to take home from this panel discussion. So with that, I take your permission to close this session. Thank you all for being present here today and sharing this platform with us. I really enjoyed interacting with you all here, and I am sure everyone else did too. Okay, so let's call it a
Thank
day.
you so much, Baisakhi. You've been a
Thank you,
lovely
Baisakhi.
moderator, and it's been pleasure to interact with you.
And thank you, Rahul, for giving us a platform.
Thank you so much, Mr. Naresh, sir. Wonderful speech. Thank you, Mr. Rahul. Great talk. All the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hari.
Thank you. And
Thank
Neha
you.
just
So
sent to me-
officially, this session is closed now.
Thanks a lot.